Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived a cheerful young girl who always wore a bright red hooded cloak. Because of this, everyone simply called her Little Red Riding Hood. One sunny morning, her mother packed a small basket with fresh bread, sweet honey, and ripe fruit. She handed it to her daughter and said gently, "Your grandmother is feeling a little unwell today. Please take this basket to her. And remember, go straight there. Don't wander off the path." Little Red Riding Hood nodded with a bright smile. "Don't worry, Mother. I'll be careful." And with that, she skipped out of the cottage and headed into the forest. The air was fresh, birds were singing, and the path ahead seemed safe. But she wasn't alone. A sly wolf had been watching from behind the trees. He stepped out onto the path and gave his most polite smile. "Good morning, young lady. Where are you off to on such a fine day?" Little Red Riding Hood, thinking he was just another traveler, answered honestly, "I'm going to visit my grandmother, who lives at the edge of the forest. She's not feeling well, so I'm bringing her some food." The wolf's eyes gleamed. "How thoughtful of you. Why not pick some flowers for her along the way? I'm sure they would cheer her up." The girl clapped her hands at the idea. "That's a lovely suggestion." She set her basket down and began gathering wildflowers. The wolf, of course, had no interest in flowers. He quietly slipped away, running swiftly down a shortcut that led straight to the grandmother's cottage. When he arrived, he knocked on the door and spoke in a high, sweet voice. "Grandmother, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. May I come in?" The grandmother, weak in bed, called out, "Come in, my dear." The wolf rushed inside. With one quick move, he locked the grandmother safely in the closet, then pulled on her nightgown and cap. He climbed into bed and pulled the blanket up to his chin, waiting with a grin. A short while later, Little Red Riding Hood reached the cottage carrying her basket of food and flowers. She stepped inside quietly. "Grandmother, it's me. I've brought you something to eat." From the bed came a low voice. "Come closer, my dear." The girl walked toward the bed. Something felt strange. "Grandmother, what big ears you have." "All the better to hear you with, my child." "And what big eyes you have." "All the better to see you with, my dear." "And your hands, they're so large." "All the better to hold you with." The girl leaned in, her eyes wide with worry. "But grandmother, what sharp teeth you have." The wolf threw off the blanket and roared, "All the better to eat you with." He leapt from the bed, but before he could catch her, the door burst open. A huntsman, who had been passing by, had heard the commotion. He stormed in with his axe raised and shouted, "Stay back, you villain!" The wolf tried to escape, but the huntsman was too quick. With a loud growl, the wolf fled into the forest and was never seen in that village again. The huntsman unlocked the closet and helped grandmother out, safe and sound. Little Red Riding Hood threw her arms around her. "Oh, grandmother, I was so frightened, but I'll never forget what Mother told me. I must stay on the path and never talk to strangers." Her grandmother kissed her on the forehead. And that, my dear, is a very wise lesson. From that day forward, Little Red Riding Hood always remembered to be careful in the forest. And though she still wore her bright red cloak, she never strayed from the path again.